All right, welcome everybody to We're Talking Sports. We're back to audio because
Yes.
we're out of the studio,
Well,
fortunately.
because Brett messed this up for us. It's his fault.
It's all Brett's fault, as
And
I'll
usual.
take blame.
Yeah, no, but what's happening is we are in three different parts of the country. Well, me and Rich are in Wisconsin, but Brett is all the way over in Maine. So this is how we're gonna do it right now. Unfortunately, I'm sorry we don't have any visuals. We tried to set that up, and none of us are very technologically sound. We need an IT. When we get bigger, we're gonna have an IT guy.
yeah,
So,
a guy that we pay to fix all of our problems.
and that is his
Uh,
one job.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
yeah.
Maybe that'll end up being Dakota. Hopefully.
Hey, that would be sweet. I would pay him if I had money, but
Okay.
but
So on to the real stuff now, the good stuff.
yeah,
The,
but I wanted to talk about something because
Okay.
last night, I don't know if you guys know this. Richie, you're not on Netflix, so you don't know. But last night, Doctor Strange went on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was watching it. And I'm like, yeah, why not? And I realized, oh crap, the NBA Finals are on tonight because
that's what I
a
thought.
friend told me that it was on last night.
That was my bad.
So
My bad, guys.
I rushed downstairs to turn it on, and I ended up watching a soap opera, waiting for
Nice.
the NBA Finals to come on. So special thanks to whoever told me that.
Yeah. My apologies.
But no,
I didn't want to
they
correct you, but
what was that?
I didn't want to correct him. But when he said Tuesday, I'm like, I think the only thing
Yeah,
set for
I-
Tuesday is the NHL finals.
It's Thursday. Yeah, that's on me. I'll take the blame on that one.
Yeah, see, I don't watch ESPN a lot anymore, so
Right. Yeah. Same either. And speaking of ESPN, John Clayton no longer
Really?
got cut from ESPN.
wow.
That was this morning. My uncle saw it and relayed that to me. Yeah.
And then
Wow.
they hire somebody like Chip Kelly.
Yep.
Because-
Yeah. And not only that, but they extended Lee Corso for College Game Day. That was the big announcement today.
Man, I'm telling you, people like Ed Werder, Chad Ford, they should all just get together, form their own like network.
They should. Yeah. Andy Katz.
Yeah,
Mark Stein. All those guys. Yeah. They definitely. That probably beat out ESPN if you ask me.
probably because they're more
Yep.
more likable.
No doubt. Something I wanted to talk to you guys about, which I thought was interesting. That we have a couple weeks of stuff here because we haven't. You guys had graduation, so there's been a little bit of a break in between shows. But the NFL Rules Committee getting together. They're obviously good. The celebrations are going to be back.
Yes.
Back to what we grew up on with Ocho Cinco, Steve Smith. Those guys doing all types of crazy stuff. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that brings excitement? Do you think this is something that they should have done a long time ago? That they should have never changed to begin with? It brings a bit of an excitement back because players can finally be themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that, in the end, the penalties weren't really that big of a deal because so many kickoffs now are touchbacks that you don't have to deal with field position for the most part, so that penalty on the kickoff wasn't really affecting that much, but I think it'll let players express themselves a little more since they can't do things with like their uniform since the NFL is so strict on that.
Right. Ben, anything?
I love this rule. I mean, probably for me the funnest, besides like the good Packers years, the funnest years for me were the years where Steve Smith and Chad Johnson just went absolutely off and did all their crazy celebrations because that was one of the most fun parts of the game.
Right.
It just added a whole another element, and I can't wait to see what people like Gronk and even Odell Beckham
Antonio
come
Brown
up with.
or
Yeah.
Beckham, guys like that, right? And I think the only thing that they said is players will not be allowed to twerk. Is the only thing that I think they
Yeah.
said is outlawed.
Yeah.
But along with those rules, overtime is being changed. They're
Yeah.
going to give less time in overtime. The debate has always been, should the NFL adopt kind of what college has, guys think? I mean, do you think this new overtime, shortening overtime, is a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Should they adopt the college so that way there's no ties? Overtime's kind of at a weird spot right now.
Yeah, I mean, all it really did is, sorry, Brett, to interrupt, but it pretty much just went from 15 to 10 minutes. I don't think this is too big of a deal, really. I mean, the only thing I could think of is, maybe one more tie we could see in a year or not, and B, it pretty much lessens the chance of injuries. So, sure, I'll say, yeah, I'm fine with this rule.
Yeah, I don't really see it helping with anything. I mean, it's 10 minutes, so
Right.
it's only 5 minutes extra. I think I like college personally. A lot of people don't because it's at the 25. It seems like it's very offensively based. But if you did something from like the 40 or the 50,
right? If they backed it up a little bit,
I think it would. Even if it's the 40, I mean, one series you're within field goal range for most kickers,
right?
And I think it would make it exciting. It would make things a little more interesting. But in the end, I think, at least in the playoffs, it's something that has to be changed so you don't have the situation where you did this year where the Patriots score first time down the field and the Falcons never have a chance.
Right.
But the Falcons, okay, I'm sorry to interject, because I like the NFL playoff, or overtime rather than the college overtime, because, I mean, you look at the Super Bowl, I mean, teams need to win with both offense and defense. The Falcons had plenty of opportunities to stop the Patriots, and they didn't. So.
Well, yeah, and I mean, when you talk about that, I mean, if you look at that game, just like everybody always says, look at it from the first half. If the Falcons score one more touchdown, the game's over.
Yep.
All they do is score once in the entire second half, and the game's over. But not being able to do that is what allowed the Patriots to get the overtime win. I mean, to me, that's their fault.
Yeah.
I mean, they either needed to get one stop or score once, and couldn't do either. But bringing up the Falcons, Shanahan, obviously the coordinator of the offense for them this year on the huge Super Bowl run, leaving. One of the new rules as well is the hiring of coaches that are in the postseason. You can now hire a coach that is still currently coaching for another team. Do you think this is a good move for the NFL? This is what they can do in college, and you'll see guys leave. Certain coaches that get bigger jobs will end up leaving, and they'll name an interim coach for the bowl game. This is almost the same situation as that. Do you think this is a good idea for the NFL to do, where coordinators or head coaches or whoever can up and leave during the postseason?
You can take this one, Brett.
I don't think that you'll see any real change in the hiring process. I think guys like Shanahan still would have coached out through the rest of the postseason.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to stop. I think it would be a lot like Lane Kiffin, where besides the fact that Alabama got rid of him because he wasn't focused, I think it would be a situation where those guys are going to wait because they want to have that chance at winning the ultimate game in the NFL.
Right. Yep. Yeah. I agree with you with that. I guess maybe my question would be if you have a person like, let's say, I'm just trying to think of it, like a Bill Belichick. Okay, we know Belichick. It's his defense in New England. Patricia's the coordinator, or McCarthy. McCarthy's a head coach that runs his offense. If let's say the offensive coordinator for Green Bay, or the defense coordinator for the Patriots were to get a job, do you think somebody like McCarthy or Belichick would just say, I mean, we have an easier time saying, hey, well, we really don't need you?
No.
Because
Belichick and McCarthy are all about consistency. They're all about keeping it the same, and I think the Patriots is a perfect example, because if this rule wasn't implemented, I think, or if this rule was the same way, I think both McDaniels and Patricia would be head coaches right now.
I agree with you, and I think the NFL has good intentions with this, but like you said, what worries me is now, if I'm a head coach, where's my coach's mind? Is he worried about the upcoming draft? Is he worried about meeting those guys? Is he worried about other things when I'm trying to win the ultimate prize? You know what I mean? And I think that's the decision that you have to look at, and it'll be on a base-to-base scenario. But I think the NFL just should have kept it the way that it was and just waited. Have them wait.
See, and you talk about Shanahan. We knew he was going to get hired by San Francisco. You can go back to Dan Quinn when he was the defensive coordinator of the Seahawks. It was the same way. Like, we knew the Falcons were going to hire him. But I don't think a lot of other teams have that same kind of patience. So then, a team like the Chargers just went ahead, they were interviewing, Matt Patricia, and I think they were interviewing Josh McDaniels as well, but they were like, you know what, we want our head coach right now, so we're going to grab Anthony Lynn. Maybe Anthony Lynn wasn't the right candidate. And same thing with the Rams hiring Sean McVay.
Right. So. Yeah, I think this rule will go both ways. Like you said, I think there are positives where, like you said, McDaniels and Patricia, guys that should be getting head coaching jobs, are probably going to be more likely to become head coaches compared to a guy maybe like Sean McVay wouldn't be a head coach, like you said. Speaking of the Patriots guys, Rob Gronkowski got a restructured contract, incentive loaded, geared towards injuries. This has to be the smartest move the Patriots have done in the last couple of years, because Gronkowski, when he's on the field, is an absolute monster. But staying on the field is the problem.
Yeah, I don't see him reaching any of these incentives, but I guess you never know. I mean, he's, as they said, I was reading an article yesterday about the Celtics, and they kind of compared Blake Griffin to Gronk, so...
That does make sense. I mean, Blake's the same way.
Yeah, a guy that has a super high ceiling, but can only reach it for 3-4 game periods at a time, because he's never able to play that whole season. And I don't see that getting any better. There's a lot of people that think after this latest back surgery that it's going to be increasingly difficult for him to even play an entire season if he is healthy, because of the soreness and the pain that he's going to have to go through dealing with the continued back issues that he's had over his career.
Do you think, as a Patriots fan, I guess, you obviously see and hear more and have more of a constant communication with what the Patriots are doing. Do you think Gronk is a guy who's going to have a short NFL career? Is he going to make it to 10 NFL seasons? Or is he going to be a guy like a Barry Sanders, a Calvin Johnson, who retires before their prime, or before, the end of their prime?
I think he's going to be forced to retire. I don't think it's something he will do willingly, but I also don't think the Patriots will keep him that much longer.
Okay.
I think Belichick realizes with this contract, this might be something he can use to appeal to other teams, and that they can find a tight end out there that can replace him, because honestly, last year, the only reason the Patriots were okay at tight end is because of Bennett. It wasn't because of Gronk. This year, they're hoping that guy is Dwayne Allen.
Right.
And with Gronk being out last year and them finally winning a Super Bowl without him, they hadn't been able to do that before. But now that they have done that without him, I think it might change the thought process inside New England a little bit, and they can use that cap space that he would take to go out and make the team even better.
Okay. Ben, any thoughts on that?
No, I agree with Brett 100%. But speaking of Calvin Johnson, can we all stop not you guys, but people like NFL Network and ESPN, they made a big deal about him visiting Raiders training camp or mini camp, because I think one of their coaches used to coach for the Lions or something like that.
Yeah, he was like the wide receiver coach for Detroit. My only thought on that, I don't care. When I saw that, I didn't even look at it from a playing standpoint. He's done. There's no doubts about that. He's not coming back. What I liked about that is you have a guy who in his prime could arguably be a top 5 receiver all time, and just talent-wise, he's probably a top 5 receiver all time. That's giving back to young players like Amari Cooper. This guy, for what we know, could end up being a 31-year-old NFL coach. And that's what crossed my mind, was that this could be the first step.
We see assistant coaches in their early 30s all the time.
Right, but I mean, this is a guy who could end up being the reason he could be there is because he could become an assistant coach.
Sure.
To me, that was initially what I had thought. I didn't even think about him as a player suiting up for the Raiders. I had thought maybe bring him in as a assistant wide receivers coach, or something like that, to have a guy of his talent and his abilities there working with a young group of players.
Well, and it looks like, I mean, I know they haven't said anything, but I mean, he's already technically a consultant if he's there in practice working with, guys like Amari and Crabtree, so.
Right, and I mean, yeah, I think, like you said, people blew up way too big about it. They wanted to make a story.
They thought, hey, Marshawn Lynch can do it, so can he, and...
Right, and, yeah. From one wide receiver to Ben's favorite receiver, Odell Beckham Jr., signed the highest endorsement deal for a football player from Nike. 5 years, $25 million.
Now, was that just a shoe deal, or...?
Shoe deal.
Okay.
It's the richest shoe deal. It's a little less than what LeVar Ball would have gotten had he been Odell Beckham's agent. But do you think that now that, we saw LeBron get $1 billion, and you're starting to see more basketball players get these huge, huge deals, do you think NFL guys will use this to their advantage to try to get more and more money now that Odell Beckham has kind of upped the standard to that next level for football players?
Well, I mean, I think with basketball and shoes, that's just such a good marriage there.
Right.
Everybody wants, the new Jordans and stuff like that. And then that just evolved to each player getting their own shoes. With NFL, I don't, nobody's going out to get the newest Odell cleats. Like, that's just not a thing. Could it be a thing? Maybe. I don't know. But why don't even expand to that? Maybe have a signature glove. Something like that.
Or otherwise, I mean, like, I don't know if the NBA does it as much. I know, like you said, shoes is a perfect marriage. But with NFL, I mean, like Odell Beckham could make, like, athletic clothes. Like something that he might, like shorts or like an Under Armour, something that he would wear under his uniform or something instead of the shoe deal.
Well, and I mean, we see, everybody, all new NFL players come out with their own brands and logos, like, Tom Brady, J.J. Watt, and they all have their own thing. It's not as popular as, LeBron's or Kobe's stuff, but it's still something.
Yeah. Speaking of when we were talking about the Raiders, Derek Carr has officially put a stamp on when he wants his extension done. He said that he's giving the Raiders until training camp to get an extension done, to get it done. After training camp, he doesn't want to deal with it. He doesn't want it to be talked about. The media will obviously talk about it, but he doesn't want to talk during the season. He wants to stay focused, as I understand. What kind of extension are we looking at for Derek Carr? Are we talking about Andrew Luck money?
I think you got to go close to that at least. I mean, he's probably already had a more successful season than Andrew Luck has.
Okay. Which probably is true. Surprise, when you think of it.
But I think a lot of it will have to do with how he does. I think it'll be a good thing for the Raiders to wait through this year to see if he's hesitant after breaking his leg, if it affects the way he plays it all.
Okay.
It might not be a good thing for him, but he said right in that same statement that he doesn't really care about the money. He's out here to win, and he wants to win a Super Bowl. And I think it's something that will help him refocus and get over the injury quicker by not worrying about how much money am I going to make or how much money am I going to lose. But it's going to be, I mean, it has the potential to be one of probably the top 5 biggest extensions of all time.
Okay. And Ben, I'm going to direct this your way. So with what Brett was saying, if he doesn't care about the money and he, isn't worried about how much money he gets or how much money he loses, wouldn't it almost be smarter for him to get this deal done, get it signed, and head into training camp or the season with the new contract instead of all the buzz, that's going on the outside?
Oh, 100%. I think for him, I think it'd be smart to do it now. But, I mean, or he could also, have this year as almost a prove-it year because in what I'm thinking, if he goes into the room with Reggie McKenzie and asks for an extension, he might not get as much as he wants because of that leg injury.
Right.
Because that's going to be hurting him. So I think, I think with any player that's in a contract year, I think if they know they want to play for this team, yeah, you want to get that deal done before training camp. Absolutely. But if I'm thinking as the Raiders, I would wait. I would wait another year. I would get Khalil Mack's deals done because, he's essentially the quarterback of the defense. I would get his deal done and then wait and see what Derek Carr does. If Derek Carr has an MVP season, fantastic. We'll give him an MVP contract. Otherwise, playing it safe.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know with Carr being a second-round pick, obviously that doesn't matter when it comes to the extension. But was Amari Cooper the first-round pick that same year? So Amari. So I
think it was Khalil Mack. I think that was Khalil Mack's draft.
Khalil Mack. Okay. And Cooper was the year after?
I believe so.
Okay, because I knew one of those guys was the exact same year.
Right.
And they're going to, because Oakland's going to be forking out a ton of money coming up here in the next 2 years with Cooper, Mack, and Derek Carr.
Hey, they're moving to Las Vegas, so just put it all on blackjack. See if you can
That's
double
right.
up.
Play it all on the table as a roulette. So moving on from NFL to NBA, a lot has happened, been announced since we've all last got together. The all NBA teams have come out. I think those were being announced as we were recording our.
I got all 5 right. So for first team,
you did.
You guys
round of applause.
No, it's. I try and prove my point, and here's Richie telling me Giannis is the best player in the league.
Who said that? I never.
You thought it.
I didn't know. I said most improved.
All right.
Any vetoes with the first team? LeBron, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi, Anthony Davis. Any issues for either of you guys there?
You know my answer.
Yeah. Well, we know your answer. Brett, any?
Who are you gonna put on there?
I mean,
Durant was hurt. If Durant, I don't know. There's no center in the game that's better than the only center that could possibly be better is DeMarcus Cousins or
they
maybe
play on the same team, right?
Karl Anthony Towns, but neither guy had as good of a season as Anthony Davis, so I don't have any issues with anybody on that list.
Okay.
Gobert made second team, right?
What's that?
Oh, go ahead, say second team.
Second team is Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Giannis, Rudy Gobert, Isiah Thomas. So, and I think for the most part, that's everybody that anybody could really think there. And then third team, you're looking at Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, DeMar DeRozan, John Wall, and DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. Can you? Who are the guards for the second team again?
Isaiah and Curry.
Yeah, I would have put DeRozan over Curry.
Okay.
Personally.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I know that's a hard sell, but I mean.
Now I know obviously offense is the name of the game today, but when you look at two-way players, I would almost put John Wall over Curry as well. To me, I think John Wall's a better defender.
I agree with you.
That I would make, but due to these all-pro teams coming out, two players heavily affected by extensions, Paul George, Gordon Hayward, are not going to be able to get the money that they would have had they gotten all-pro. Do you think this is going to affect where these guys end up? They just resign now instead of leave, or do both guys end up elsewhere?
I mean, if Paul George wants to go to LA, he's going to go to LA.
Okay. And is Boston lining up for Gordon Hayward right now?
That I agree with that. I think Paul George is as good as gone from Indiana.
Okay.
Hayward, on the other hand, I guess it depends on if he wants to continue to play that style of basketball for the next 5 years, and if he wants to try to battle in the West, where they really, honestly, probably have no chance of even making the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
For the next 5 years just because of how good Golden State and the Spurs are. Whereas if he comes to the Celtics, they have a chance to at least be in the finals. And if you give it 3 years, LeBron's going to be probably, well, you would think heading on his decline.
You'd think,
you
right?
never know.
Yeah.
But that's basically what the Celtics are hoping for. It's pretty much that's the only option they have. There's not really a bunch of other free agents for them to go out and get besides maybe Blake Griffin. And I don't think that would be wise. But I think Hayward will seriously consider Boston, and it's going to have to come down to if Brad Stevens can convince him to leave.
Okay. With all these announcements the NBA did, now I'm not sure. They did announce, now the 3 names that they announced for all awards, those are just like the finalists, right? That are going to be,
yes.
And then the winner gets announced at the show. Okay, so we'll go through these. The most improved finalists are Giannis, Nikola Jokic, and Rudy Gobert. What anybody you think that's missing on that list, or that maybe shouldn't be there, or that you think's going to win?
I mean,
just initial thoughts on that.
I mean, yeah, I think those are probably 3 names. You said. I mean, I would have put Devin Booker on there personally,
Okay.
But I'm gonna go with Jokic because, and I said this before with Giannis, and same case can be made with Gobert. Is, to me, at the end of last season, they were playing at the same level they're playing now. Like
so they were all stars last year in your mind at the end of the year.
At the end of the year, they were playing at an all-star level, correct?
Okay.
So I'll go
Brett, same thing.
Yeah, I mean, Giannis obviously did it over a full season this year, which could very well help his case, and he's probably the most publicized of those 3 guys. But Jokic went from being a guy that wasn't even really so much a starter when they still had Nurkic as well.
Mm-hmm.
It would be on and off again, but then he turns into almost a Giannis type player as well, where he can do a little bit of everything, and he helps on all aspects of the game. And I think he's probably the most deserving, but I think Giannis is going to win because he was in the spotlight more.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I agree with you. I was gonna say, I completely agreed with what you were saying, Ben. And I think, with what benefited Giannis the most is he ended up basically being the point guard. Everybody knew he was a good all-around player, like you said, with the way that he finished last year. He finished playing, the season on an all-star level, and they started using him at point guard. And now it just really got blown up because he was a full-time point guard, like you said, Brett. But yeah, like you said, I mean, it wasn't as if he was an unknown commodity or somebody who wasn't living up to any expectations trying to come back. And like you said, Ben, Devin Booker, definitely a name that should be on this list. If not this year, he's going to end up probably.
Yeah, I would put him in over Gobert for top 3.
Okay. Brett, any changes you'd make as well?
No, but I do have, just so you guys can compare, Jokic, he shot 51% last year in his first year. This year he brought it up to 58%. He raised his rebounds from 7 to 9.8. His assists from 2.4 to 4.9. Still right around 1 steal a game. He raised his blocks by 0.2. And his points per game went from 10 to 16.7. So across the board, he had some pretty big jumps. And he didn't really... I mean, the most impressive thing to me is that his field goal percentage went up by almost 10%.
Yeah, that alone right there is...
and he's taking more shot attempts, he's playing more minutes, and he's doing more all the way around, so he's still able to be effective on the offensive end for a team that really doesn't have a whole lot of weapons.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably, across the board, the way you look at it, he probably made some of the biggest jumps of anybody. Moving on to the 6th man award, Andre Iguodala, Eric Gordon, and Lou Williams were the 3 finalists announced for this. You guys okay with this? Anybody missing? Pretty much what I think we expected, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have anybody that I think would step on there. Evan Turner didn't obviously have the same type of year he did last year. and he's another guy you think of. Jamal Crawford kind of got thrust not into a starting role, but he
with injuries hurt his chance.
He hurt his chances because he did have to start some. I mean, you look at those guys, Eric Gordon and Lou Williams both had phenomenal years.
Yeah.
And then Andre Iguodala just has been consistent for a long time, and he continues to do so on a team where he's not the center of attention anymore.
Right. Sticking with Warriors players here, Defensive Player of the Year, led by Draymond Green, the ever-controversial defender that he is, along with Kawhi Leonard and Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, I mean, I think... first of all, I think this is the right top three, 100%. Absolutely.
Okay.
And I don't think you could go wrong with picking any of those three for Defensive Player of the Year. We talked about this before. I mean, I'm going Kawhi Leonard.
I think Kawhi Leonard to me is the best defender in the league. The only name to me that's missing, but again, you can't replace any of these guys, is Jimmy Butler, who's arguably one of the best two-way players and one of the best wing defenders in the league as well. But with only 3 spots, obviously somebody was going to miss the cut. But yeah, Kawhi is an absolute animal when it comes to defense, and we saw that in Game 1 of the Spurs-Warriors matchup when San Antonio was up 25 before Kawhi ended up having to leave the game.
Yeah, and with Kawhi, you look at who he defends, and he can defend anybody that Draymond defends. He can defend anybody that Gobert defends, whereas I don't think the same can be said for those two. I think Draymond, obviously, he is physical and he can defend bigger guys, but I think if he's trying to defend a guy like Gobert, he's not going to have a whole lot of success, whereas Kawhi would.
Yeah.
And Gobert doesn't have that quickness that Kawhi does. So Kawhi, I mean, you just look at him, and it's very similar to LeBron if LeBron played hard on defense all the time.
Right. Moving on to the Rookie of the Year, similar to the Sixth Man award, 2 teammates here in Joel Embiid and Dario Saric, along with Malcolm Brogdon.
Oh, the second best player ever.
Oh my goodness. Here we go.
No, I think, these were really, by the end of the season, these were the only 3 names. So, yeah, I'm going Saric, but...
I mean, I had picked Saric before as well, and I'm going to stick with Saric just because, I don't really have a legitimate reason, but Brogdon obviously had some big games. I just think he was a little, I think his stats were padded by those big games. I don't think he was consistent enough.
And I think what's going to help, Saric too is, Saric, obviously, his numbers weren't as good when Embiid played, because obviously Embiid was just on a whole nother level at the beginning of the year. But I think what's going to help Saric win the award. I am switching here, Ben, so you can jump off the train. But anyway, I think what'll help Saric win is Saric, played very well and at the same level all season, and then stepped up at the end there when Embiid did get hurt. Whereas Brogdon was key for them early, coming off the bench, but really didn't give them much until after Jabari got hurt. So it was almost like you had a half a season of Brogdon, which, like I said, with Saric, you're going to have the full season of statistics, which I think is going to end up helping him win that Rookie of the Year award as well. Although the NBA keeps putting Joel Embiid in commercials, and we all know how the NBA is with marketing. They
it was a Jolly Ranchers commercial. Oh my god.
Hey, I'm just saying. Moving on to the Coach of the Year, probably most deserving. You have Greg Popovich, Mike D'Antoni, 2 of the best teams this year in the league. But then Eric Spoelstra was the third one. I think could have shocked some people. We'll start with you, Ben. Where you headed for Coach of the Year?
Well, I would have put Brad Stevens in that list over Spoelstra. I would have had Brad Stevens win, to be honest. But out of those 3, I think I would go D'Antoni.
Okay.
Probably because, I mean, besides Spoelstra, he had the most improved team, and aside from Spoelstra, he made the playoffs. So
Yeah.
I feel like in order to win Coach of the Year, you have to make the playoffs.
Right. I agree with you.
So I'm gonna go with D'Antoni, even though Popovich could literally win this every year.
Right. Right. And for me, I think that's why. For me, I would take Pop solely for the fact that first year without Tim Duncan, I think a lot of people have expected a dip, and they only seemed to. And basically, LaMarcus Aldridge, who was non-existent for most of the year, they were still able to have a very, very good season. Would be the reason as to why I would take Popovich in that case. Brett, what about you?
Yeah, I think it's got to be either Popovich or D'Antoni. Obviously, Spoelstra did a great job for the last 50 games. But those first 32 games, you can't really look. I mean, they were 11 and 21 or whatever. So obviously, during those first quarter of the season, the Heat struggled mightily. I would have had Brad Stevens in there as well. I don't know if he would have won because I think D'Antoni is going to win. I think a lot of people are giving him a lot of credit for making Harden the player he is.
Yep.
I don't know if Harden would have evolved this way on his own naturally, but I also think D'Antoni got. I mean, you look at the players they added over the course of the year, and there's not. I mean, they might be even a better shooting team than Golden State.
Okay.
I think they're pretty equal, but you look at if this was voted on after the Rockets played the Spurs, I don't think there's any chance D'Antoni would win because Popovich Popovich and the Spurs made the Rockets look pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I would also have Quinn Snyder in there for the Jazz.
Yeah. That's a good choice as well. The one that confused me the most was the MVP. Not to say
okay.
these three guys didn't deserve it, but it's Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Kawhi Leonard. I guess I proposed the question: how can you leave LeBron off this list?
Easy.
I mean, so you don't think LeBron should be an MVP candidate?
If we can only choose three, yeah.
Okay. That was the one that confused me. To me every year, LeBron's an MVP candidate regardless because I think it just what
second seed in the East. That's all I need to say.
That is true. But
I mean, I look at it as if you take LeBron off that team, they're still probably going to win 45 games to 50 games. Whereas if you take Kawhi off the Spurs, we saw what is going to happen then.
Right.
And if you take Westbrook off the Thunder, they might be lucky to win.
They're off.
They're the first pick of the draft.
Right. So is it a unanimous vote here that we're all taking that we would all pick Westbrook as this year's MVP?
Yeah, he'll win.
I think so as well. Brett?
Yeah, I'm taking him as well. A lot of people are on that Harden train, but
and I don't blame him. I mean, he had an amazing year.
Yeah, he had a very great year. So even though we have not hit free agency yet, some big free agency news has been popping up here of late. Paul Millsap heading out of Atlanta. Whoever ends up with Paul Millsap is getting a great player. Can definitely boost that team, but not only that, but the Hawks went out and signed a general manager. I'm going to butcher this name. It's Travis Schlenk, I think is how you pronounce it. He was with the Golden State Warriors.
Is that with 2 or 3 shs?
Yeah. 3.
Okay.
But they stripped Mike Budenholzer of the president GM role, and he's only going to be coaching now.
Ooh.
So, not sure how this relationship is going to go, but Budenholzer being from the Spurs coaching tree and Schlenk coming from Golden State, it's almost like trying to mix oil and water here. of how this is really going to turn out for them.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what to say about that. I think the first couple of years, Budenholzer really put together a great team. And I think since then there have been some moves that maybe haven't put them in the right direction. I don't know how you guys feel about the Jeff Teague trade. I know they had Dennis Schroeder, who was definitely going to be their point guard of the future. So I guess I wasn't too upset with that. But picking up Dwight Howard, I wasn't a big fan of that. And Howard definitely had a mostly improved year. For sure.
Right, and that's what I was going to say. I think most Hawks fans were surprised by what they were able to get out of Howard.
Right, well. But at the same time, having a deal that big can really hurt a team, and so I don't know.
Yeah, I think the Hawks are a team that have already peaked. And I think by bringing in somebody new, coming from the Warriors, a team that has done so well in the draft, I think that's what they're looking for, because that's where pretty much where they're going to have to build. Because if you look at the free agent classes for the upcoming years, the next 2 years at least, they're not really great. There's guys like Millsap, but Millsap is a great player, but he's not a player that can bring you to the NBA Finals. There's no superstar that they're going to be able to attract to Atlanta. Paul George is probably the best available player over the next 2 years, going with Durant and Curry re-signing with Golden State. And Paul George isn't going to Atlanta. I don't care who they bring to Atlanta. He's not going there. So I think it's going to have to be something where they'll be relevant for the next 5 or 6 years, but they'll never be that team that wins 60 games until they build for the draft and find a couple guys that can help them elevate.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And sticking with the topic of front offices, the Clippers are now trying to poach Jerry West away from the Golden State Warriors to come down to LA and help them rebuild that team. Another team that's, like you said, I think they've already peaked, and you're going to see a lot of their star players that have been stars for them over the last number of years in different uniforms next year. Can Jerry West fix the issues that the Clippers have had, basically not living up to the expectation of what's been expected of them?
Yeah, that's going to be tough. I think what they have to do, essentially, they've set themselves up to forcing themselves to rebuild around DeAndre Jordan. I don't know when Blake Griffin's going to leave. I don't know if he's going to stick around for very long. And, of course, there's rumors swirling around that Chris Paul may head to San Antonio. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Chris Paul's going to play his career out in LA, but who knows how long we have the CP3 play at an all-star level, and then you have monster deals given to Austin Rivers and Jamal Crawford. And
what is JJ Redick making? Do you know? Is he's on a pretty big deal as well, I believe. I think he was a free agent when the Bucks traded him to the Clippers.
Well, right, but that was, in free agent years, that was ages ago. So
right. Yep.
So I think he's making less than 10, unless they give him an extension. So
JJ Redick is. Well, so that contract he signed with the Bucks was 4 years, $27.7 million. So right around $7 million a year.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But yeah, you took the Chris Paul thing off my list. Basically, that was the next thing that I had here. But another Chris that's going to be a free agent next year is possibly going to be Chris Bosh. It looks like the Miami Heat have agreed to let him move on. Whether another team will clear him to play or not is another story. But with everything that has happened with him in terms of health, can we say it's a lock for him to take a 1-year cheap deal to go to Cleveland and play with his boy?
It depends on what Dr. LeBron says.
Yeah, Dr. LeBron, along with Coach LeBron and GM LeBron.
Yeah, that he's just gonna, when they give Chris Bosh his physical, LeBron's just gonna shoo out the doctor. He's gonna get a stethoscope and say, "Oh, you're good."
You're good. You're good. Is it? Do you think from what we know about what's going on with Chris Bosh with the blood clots, for him, do you think from his perspective and from a team's perspective, for him as a player, is it worth it to risk the health to try to come back? And as a team, do you risk signing him?
I think you have to think about it. I mean, if you can bring him in for his physical and the doctors say, hey, this guy's not going to die on the court, then I think it's something you have to think about because of he was, I don't know if I'd say he was as good as Kevin Love, but he was a very good player that could really help a lot of teams if he plays anywhere near that potential as a role player. I don't think he's going to start for anybody, but I think he could be a role player on one of the either the top 4 teams in the East or top 4 teams in the West.
No, I mean, when Chris Bosh was in his prime, really, and I see that as really last year with the Raptors, first year with the Heat. I mean, this guy was good. I mean, he was one of the top 3 power forwards in the league. And will he ever be at that level again? Probably not. You know, and even if he does pass his physicals or whatever with his teams, but the reason Miami isn't playing with him or doesn't want to deal with him is because they see him as a liability. You know, if something happens to Chris Bosh on the court in a Heat jersey, like that is some big, not just team problem, but as the entire franchise. That's a big problem, you know, and they'd be asking questions, why did you play him and stuff like that. And I understand why Pat Riley doesn't want to deal with that, but it's, I don't know what team, I mean, like you said, the Cavs would kind of probably be best case scenario for him. Otherwise, maybe the Clippers or the Lakers,
a team that's either rebuilding or trying to get a veteran in there, or a team competing for a title. Basically.
Well, right, like, and talk about big markets, Clippers, Lakers.
Right. Bringing a old staple back to the show here, heading into free agency. There's been some rumblings already. A little contender-pretender today. I got for the show. So
a lot of dust on that shelf there.
What's that?
A lot of dust on that shelf.
Oh yeah, we dusted it off. These are players who have been talked about in the either at the trade deadline or here over the last couple of weeks about being traded. Big trade pieces here. And probably the most popular one we're going to start with here is Jimmy Butler and the Chicago Bulls. Brett?
I'm going pre-tender. I don't think the Bulls are sold on rebuilding, so I think Butler will stick around for at least one more year. I'm not sure when his contract runs out, but I think he's got one more year in Chicago, and if they take another step back, he'll be gone.
I'm just going to say before Ben goes that I completely agree with you. I think I think he spends at least one more year there in Chicago. Ben?
Yeah, I'm also going pretender. I think right now Jimmy Butler is the face of the organization over Fred Hoiberg. I think the Bulls front office would much rather keep Butler than Hoiberg.
I completely agree with you there. Another player that we talked about, probably, like you guys said, most likely on his way out, so I'm guessing it's going to be a clean sweep for contender here. That's Paul George.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll get traded. I think there's obviously a chance. I think it's a contender that there's a chance he'll get traded. Whether it will work out with LA being the most likely destination, I don't know if they trade for him, but
because he's not a free agent, I don't think.
After next year.
Oh yeah. So if he were to go this offseason, he'd have to be traded.
Yeah, and I don't know if LA would value having him that extra year enough when they're not going to win anything anyway
Okay.
to give up.
Pretty much knowing that they're going to get him regardless is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they technically can't talk to him, correct, because of tampering and things like that, but I'm sure they have some sort of sense that Paul George has made it pretty well known that he wants to go to LA, and so why would they give something up for a guy that they can have in a year when they're not going to win a championship this year anyway?
Yeah. Ben, go ahead.
I'm going to go contender. This reminds me a lot of the situation with Love in Cleveland a couple years ago.
Okay.
Because, we all knew he was going to go to Cleveland eventually. We just didn't know when.
Right.
And I think, the big question here is, do the Lakers give up their number 2 pick for Paul George? I don't think that's the way to go. I think they could get him for a lot cheaper. Maybe, throw in a first rounder from, 2020 or 2021. And I don't know, give him somebody like Luol Deng,
Well, and to go along with that, I mean, by waiting another year, instead of trading for him, and anticipating that you can sign him as a free agent, really, if you sign him as a free agent instead of trade for him, the only thing you're losing is salary cap. Instead of giving away players or picks or anything like that.
So why not just get rid of a guy like Mozgov or Deng, who you regret signing?
Yeah, exactly. A player... Brett had brought to my attention that apparently people are talking about him being traded, and that's Isiah Thomas. What have you heard on that front, Brett? What's your take?
Well, Isiah has told Danny Ainge to not worry about the contract extension because he's a free agent after next year. A lot of people, I believe it was like Max Kellerman and maybe Colin Cowherd, both said trade him while his value's high. Nobody seems to believe that he can be a franchise centerpiece. And then if they draft Fultz, the speculation is going to continue to go up.
Right. So basically, are they saying he can't be Allen Iverson? Is that what I'm hearing?
Pretty much. And whether he could be AI or not, I think Isiah Thomas is a guy that on almost every single team in this league, except for maybe Cleveland and Golden State, would be a top 3 player.
Yeah, completely agree.
And even then, you could say that, Kevin Love's a great player, but is he better than Isiah Thomas? I don't really know.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Ben?
Yeah, pretender, he's going nowhere.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you get rid of him, you're wasting. An injury-prone player here next, Jabari Parker.
Pretender, I don't think anybody wants him.
Okay, I agree with you. I think he's already being compared to Brandon Roy.
Which is unfortunate, because he has, it's a lot of talent. I don't think he'll get traded either. I think the Bucks think that, I don't know, he's torn. How do you tear 2 ACLs in 3 years?
Some people are just like that.
Yeah. And it's he could be the Gronk for the Bucks, a guy that has a lot of talent, and when he's out there, he makes a huge difference, but I don't think anybody would trade for him unless it's like a couple second rounders or a washed up veteran, something like that.
Starting to regret that Damian Lillard trade offer now, eh?
Yeah, right. Yeah. The trade offer that probably never existed to begin with. And the last piece, there's been rumblings already, like I said, with a new GM in place. There's rumors that Atlanta is going to try to move Dwight Howard. Do you think one season and done in Atlanta and move on from him?
Yeah, I'm gonna say pretender. I think they're gonna go high. The Hawks are gonna go high. They're gonna try and get as much as they can out of him. And I just don't see anybody biting. So I'm gonna say pretender.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't know what his contract value is, but unless it's like $5 or $6 million a year, I don't see why anybody would consider.
He signed a huge deal.
I think he's close to 20.
He's in the 20 range.
Yeah, he's way up there for money per contract.
He signed it.
Howard signed a 3-year, $70 million deal. So,
Yeah, you know.
So what is that? Just under 24?
he earns a
It's-
base
yeah.
salary of $23 a year.
23.
Yeah. That's
Good math.
That's a lot of money for a guy that's getting up there.
I mean, Jimmy Butler's only making $17 million a year. So if I'm
Well,
going to trade,
but he didn't sign. He didn't go into free agency. So
Right. And I don't think Jimmy Butler was. I think the year that Jimmy Butler re-signed was the year before the massive jump in
Right.
salary cap as well, which kind of.
and you're
otherwise
going to
he
see an
probably-
even bigger jump this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be extremely interesting now because this free agent class is nowhere near the class of last year.
Right, and they said that I think like the max extension Chris Paul can get could have been like $210 million or something insane. That's
But-
just
Well, I mean, and think about it. I mean, last year Mike Conley signed a deal that's getting him $30 million a year.
yeah.
So you
Which is
think all the free agent point guards out there right now, and we haven't even been talking about any of them, they're going to be asking for 20.
Right. Now Mike Conley's was the highest ever, right?
It was until LeBron got his extension.
Right. And so I mean,
Oh.
as much as we ripped the Grizzlies about that, Mike Conley has been playing. He played very well this year. We'll see about the rest of the contract.
Actually, it wasn't the biggest ever. It was second to Jordan.
Second to Jordan. Okay. Do you guys have anything else to add, news-wise?
So I have a new segment here.
Okay.
We have been. It's not really a segment. You guys can relax, but so we've been doing a lot of YouTube videos and stuff, and we're still rolling them out.
Yep.
And we get a lot of fun YouTube comments.
Oh, there we go.
So we're gonna have the YouTube comment of the week.
Okay.
So this comment we got, I believe it was yesterday, but it made me laugh. So this is from Cody Baker. So Cody, if you're watching, hey, good to hear from
Yeah.
you. So he was watching our scouting report on Marlon Humphrey, and he thought, or he said, dude on the left looks like he's on blow. So, and that was me. I was the guy on the left. So, thank you, Cody. We appreciate you watching our videos, and hope you watch more. And no, I was not on blow. So, yeah. So that is.
that's great. That's a phenomenal comment.
Yeah. Like what? Oh God.
Thank you. Thanks, Cody.
I'm gonna did you guys see Tiger Woods' mugshot?
Yes.
Yes. And the fact that he would have been okay had he not admitted to using medication, because he blew a 0.00 and
He
then told the
was
cops-
asleep at the wheel.
right. But you can go to sleep in your car if you're not drunk.
Yeah, but he wasn't even on the side. Like, he wasn't in a
Yeah.
breakdown lane. He was in the lane.
Oh, he was just in the lane of the road.
Yeah, 6-lane road. He's sleeping right in the lane.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, if you're pulled off to the side and, like, say you're drunk, you
Yeah.
can fall asleep in your car as long as the keys aren't in the ignition. But if the keys are in the ignition, you automatically get a DUI. That's why I was like, he could have got away with it, but then told the police officers that he was on medication. That's why he was.
But so
Absolutely.
people didn't believe that there was no alcohol. Then the
0.00.
and so I'm glad that he was telling the truth, that it was medication, obviously, and
Right.
I don't know if that will affect the DUI charge at all.
Okay.
Where it's prescribed medication, I don't know if
No,
that.
it's still is a DUI because you're under the influence.
But I think it looks better for him that he wasn't actually.
Drunk.
A lot of people thought he had hit rock bottom when that came out, and nobody knew any of the details. They're like, "Oh, this guy's out at the bars at 3:00 in the morning, and he passed."
Tiger hit rock bottom a while ago.
Yeah,
Well,
when's
yeah.
this comeback that's I've been hearing about for 10 years?
He's out for the rest of this year now because he had back surgery again.
Oh,
Yeah, but didn't
again.
get back surgery like 3 years ago?
He had back surgery last year, the year before, and this year. He's Rob Gronkowski.
Except Rob Gronkowski's good.
Yeah, that.
Tiger's
Very true.
probably second best ever.
So on to our next segment. Who he play for? A
Who he
cornerstone.
played for?
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
Built by Ben Burns. But this player is a current player.
Uh-oh.
So he's not retired.
Okay.
That's why the player that we are going to go with for this week, because we want Ben to be able to get involved in these festives. So this week I put it together. So the player we're going to do is Karan Butler.
Oh, good choice.
So I got a number 1 or 2 behind my back. Ben, if you want to take a stab at it.
2.
All right. Brett, you want to go first or second?
First.
All right, Brett. Name a team that Karan Butler has played for.
The Mavericks.
All right, Dallas Mavericks.
Wizards.
Washington Wizards.
The Bucks.
Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, boy. Miami.
The Miami Heat.
All right.
This is where it gets interesting.
That's the team that drafted him.
How many? Oh, you didn't tell us how many teams there are.
Oh, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and you've already got 4.
4. So 9 teams. Who's he playing for right now?
The team he played for after the Heat, he was a part of a massive trade to that team.
I think I know who that is, too.
I'm gonna throw out. Oh wait, you already said the Wizards, right, Ben?
I did.
So let's go with.
Oh, man. I'm going to win this.
You are gonna win. I can pull one out here. Philadelphia.
All right. So the Sacramento Kings.
That was the team he played for last. Yep.
The Los Angeles Lakers.
Was the team that he was traded to as a part of the Shaq trade.
Yep. The Clippers.
The LA Clippers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You got 2 more.
Was it the Charlotte Bobcats?
Was not. The Oklahoma City Thunder after he left Milwaukee.
Oh, wow.
And I believe the Thunder then in the same season traded him to the Detroit Pistons.
Oh. All right. Okay.
So Ben is 1-0 today.
Come on, Karan Butler, he's my guy. I love Karan Butler.
All right.
I think I'm like 0-10 in he played.
Now I do not. I have my phone here. I have a timer. I do not have a bell like Ben had, but I have some questions here, Ben, to let you get a little debating going as well.
Okay. Are you going to say time then when...
Yep, I'll say time. Yep.
All right.
So the first question you get what? 30 seconds?
20.
20 seconds. Okay, and then it's
10.
10-second rebuttal.
Yep.
Okay. So the first question. Bases loaded, bottom of 9.
Oh, boy.
Who do you want at the plate?
Ichiro.
Barry Bonds.
Okay, and so Ben, since you said it first, you will go first.
Oh, I hate baseball. All right. Okay, whenever I'm ready, right?
Yep, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Look, when it's bases loaded in bottom of 9th, you want a guy that you know can hit the ball. You're not looking for a home run. You're not looking for a grand slam. You're just looking for somebody to get on base. So Ichiro is the guy. He is the master of hits. So why wouldn't you choose him?
Okay. Brett.
Barry Bonds has 3 of the top 5 greatest offensive seasons in history. He is the only player to ever intentionally get walked with the bases loaded to force in a run, and there is no guy that hit more home runs in a season than Barry Bonds. He would be just as good without a bat in his hands as he is with one in his hands.
Okay, stop. Ben?
Barry Bonds does steroids. I just don't want to deal with that at all. And with Barry Bonds, okay, with Ichiro, he's even better base runner than.
Barry Bonds does do steroids, but he is still the greatest hitter of all time. I do not like him, but you can't disprove what he did.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so this one, it's interesting because, Ben, your first go of it with the 20 seconds, I thought outproved Brett because instead of actually giving me legitimate causes, Brett, you talked about not a situation with the bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth. So you talked about in other games and other situations. So, Ben, I had to go with you with
What?
the first statement that you made about how you don't need a grand slam. You didn't need a home run. You need somebody to just get on base. And to me, that was the seller because, like I said, Brett talked about just depending on the home run when really all you need is just a run scored. So I went with you on that one, Ben. I heard that you were a little shocked in that one.
I wouldn't have
He
gone with
doesn't
me.
have the most hits in a single season ever, so
Yes.
it's kind of hard to beat the guy that, if
The
he
hitmaster.
was here his whole career, would have the most hits all time.
I personally would have gone with Brett, but
What?
So
then
you
again, there's a lot of interpretation for that question.
Yeah.
It could be bases loaded leading by 12, or it could be bases loaded leading by 10.
It was a bad question.
and you need to lead like if you say like MLB history or current, because
You guys froze on me. What I meant.
be sure to like lead with if you say like MLB history or MLB current, because like
Okay. I got you. So, current Big Four
okay.
of sports. Okay. Name the best player with less than 5 years of professional experience.
Oh, okay.
That gets rid of Mike Trout.
You guys can say it in any order. None of you have to go first. Just throw it out there.
No, I hang on.
Is Bryce Harper past 5 years,
Well, he came up the same year as Trout.
or was it the year after?
He was
I
same
thought it
year.
was
He was same
same year.
Well, so that gets rid of him.
5 years.
It's the Big Four. So NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL.
I'm
I'm gonna go.
gonna go Giannis.
Okay.
I should have jumped at it. Mookie Betts.
Okay. So Ben, since you went first last time, Brett, you can lead us off.
So Betts finished second in the MVP to Mike Trout, the guy that I would have chosen had there been more than 5 years. But Betts is a all-around player. He impacts every aspect of the game. He can win a Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, MVP, and he is the best player on a team that has a chance to win the World Series this year.
Okay. Ben, whenever you're ready.
Giannis Antetokounmpo has the size and frame that is so rare in the NBA. You only see it with players like Kevin Durant and Giannis. He is a absolute triple-double machine. I have not seen this before from anybody in his size and with his experience. And the fact that he's so young, coming from Greece.
Time. Okay, Brett.
So abrupt on the shutoff. Betts is a player that will continue to get better. He hasn't reached his ceiling. He's only starting to reach his potential and could one day be the same type of player as Mike Trout.
Okay. Ben.
Mookie Betts is a good player on a good team. Giannis is a great player on a team that does not have much around him. So the fact that he's doing all this by himself is incredible.
Time. Okay. The rebuttal, Ben, I really, really liked it. But what got me was the Mookie Betts with the being an MVP candidate, being a the Silver Slugger, the Gold Glove, sold me a little bit more with the possibility of being like a Triple Crown Award winner. So we are tied at 1-1.
Oh.
I'm going to give that one to Brett. So that's why we have 5 questions. The next one is the one that I am most looking forward to hearing you guys go at.
Okay.
the major four sports, past, present, whatever you guys want.
All right.
Biggest draft bust.
Jamarcus Russell.
Oh, that's the Greg Oden.
Okay. Ben, we'll start with you.
Yeah. Jamarcus Russell is a first overall pick of the draft, and when he was coming out of the draft, everybody was just amazing because his size, his arm, he had absolutely everything. And when you look at other number one overall quarterbacks, like Peyton Manning and Cam Newton, they show up. Jamarcus Russell did absolutely nothing in the NFL. Greg Oden at least...
Greg Oden was supposed to be a franchise changer for whichever team took him. He was never able to stay on the court, so he was an automatic bust because he was never able to play, never able to showcase that. Regardless of his talent, he was a guy similar to Yao Ming that will go down as a very talented player that never stayed on the floor and had a chance to impact any team.
Time. Ben?
Greg Oden's going to go down as just a player that got hurt. Jamarcus Russell is going to go down as a fat, chubby slob that stole money from the Oakland Raiders. At least he could help it. Greg Oden couldn't.
The same could be said for Greg Oden in that his injuries were a part of his frame, I guess you could say, that he didn't do enough to stay healthy and work hard enough to stay on the court, whether that's it or not.
Ugh.
Sorry, Brett, but...
Yeah, well, that together insult was the winner for him.
No, what got me was the part where Ben rebutted saying that, you know, Jamarcus Russell's talent is what ultimately ruined his career, whereas, you know, Greg Oden, without the injuries, we would never really truly know. It was injuries that kept him off the court.
Bennett.
Yeah, you could have said Anthony Bennett, and then you could have said the big fat slob word, just like Ben did.
Could have had the same argument.
Good, basically. Ben, I'm sorry if I put you at a disadvantage here again. You are up 2-1.
Baseball question?
No, not a baseball question. But this is an all-time ever question.
All right.
Best college athlete ever. So it doesn't matter what they did in the pros. It's just who is the best college athlete.
Any sport?
Archie Goodwin.
Any sport.
No. Wait.
What'd you say, Archie what?
Archie Griffin? Was
Griffin.
he okay? I'm not going Archie Goodwin. I'm not going Archie Goodwin.
Okay. That's why I want to make sure. Archie Griffin, yeah.
Not Archie Goodwin, not the Suns basketball player.
Right.
I'm gonna go with Tyler Hansbrough.
Okay. All right. So who started the last one? Ben did?
Yeah.
Okay, so Brett, here we go. You ready?
Yep.
Whenever you're ready.
There is no player in college basketball that probably had more success and publicity than Tyler Hansbrough, a guy that never did anything in the NBA. He was able to do everything on the basketball court: rebound, score, distribute. He was a part of some of the best North Carolina teams of the last 20 years, and he is somebody that...
Ben?
Yeah. There is something special about Ohio State running backs, Eddie George, Ezekiel Elliott, the list goes on, but nobody was better than Archie Griffin. And we talk about the greatest individual award ever, not even college, it's college and professional. It is the Heisman Trophy. This guy won it twice. Are you kidding me? And Tyler Hansbrough was playing with a great team at his side.
Brett?
Yeah, this isn't ideal. Not ideal. Archie Griffin played in an era where passing the football was not really necessary, in a time before the game evolved into what it is today, and I think that impacted a lot.
That was a short turn
Ben?
sentence. Yeah, Tyler Hansbrough, you could take him away from that UNC team, they would probably still win the championship. Archie Griffin, you take him away from the Buckeyes, they might not be the same Ohio State that they are right now.
Time. Sorry, Brett.
Yeah, I have to 1-1 one on discussion.
See, I barely know anything about Archie Griffin. The only thing I know is he won 2 Heisman, so.
Won 2 Heismans. Yeah.
That's...
Alright, hang on. I gotta write down winners here.
Are you saving that 5th question, or are you going to tell us what it was, just so we know?
Nope. We can still do it if you want. The 5th question that I had was, it's a hypothetical question, so not based on really truly. It's just based on like what you guys would. If
All right.
another player besides Jackie Robinson would have his number retired throughout an entire league of any sport, who should have their number retired? Is the question I was going to have.
Okay.
Because a lot of people talked about Jordan. So if you guys want to do it,
I'll do it.
We'll do it besides non-Jordan. You can't pick Jordan now.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky.
Gretzky, okay.
Ooh, that's a good one. Jim Otto.
Okay. So, best college athlete. Who started that one, Brett? Or Ben?
I think Brett. I think I started that. I started it.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Brett, you ready?
Yep.
All right.
There is no player in NHL history that has done more than Wayne Gretzky has. He revolutionized the game to become offensively paced and make it more interesting. He played in the physical era, was able to score the most points ever. Even though he was a player that wasn't all that physical, he did things for the entire league, and he brought it back to the spotlight.
Okay. Ben?
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Wayne Gretzky was a great player, but I want to respect him by wearing number 99. Why can't anybody else do that? Jim Otto wears 00. Who are you going to see wearing 00? I think why not just retire that throughout the league, because to me, if an NFL player wears 00, it's just going to be tacky.
Okay. But Brett?
Wayne Gretzky could be a lot like Jackie Robinson. He will not get his own day, but he could, because players respect his abilities that much. There will be no player that will ever break his points record or assist record.
This question
you
is
could refrain from the assists. That did not include. That was not counted in Brett's. He went over his time and kept talking.
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
right,
okay, wait. How about you give me 2 extra seconds and we can keep that.
Okay.
I'll adjust.
All right.
This question is completely hypothetical. Jackie Robinson was a cultural hero. Wayne Gretzky was not. Jim Otto was not. But so this question is absolutely ridiculous.
I had a feeling that one of you was going to say that, but of course it had to be you. Yeah, I mean,
Give it to Brett.
agree
Give
with
it
you. I
to
don't
Brett.
think any player will ever have it retired again. I just brought it up because a lot of players in the NBA have mentioned that they think
That's
Jordan
just
should have-
because they don't like LeBron.
That's true. That's very true. But I'll give you who I would have taken in the first question, Brett. Barry Bonds was the guy that I thought of too, but Ben, very good job with the Ichiro.
Oh.
The best player less than 5 years, I would have went with Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh.
Is probably who I would have taken. With less than 5 years of experience in the NBA.
It's hard to think right off like the top of your head because.
Right. Yeah, I mean now you know, Ben, what we go through.
Well, I liked it. It was fun.
Biggest draft bust, Jamarcus Russell was who I
would
had.
see if I could do it again. I would have said Tony Mandrich because of all the
Okay.
players in that '89 draft.
Right. With Barry Sanders, obviously. Best college athlete. I was surprised neither of you went this way. I would have said Reggie Bush. That was mine.
That's a good one.
Bush or Matt Leinart.
I think you could have
Yeah.
done Leinart.
Yeah, Matt Leinart as well. Or even somebody like O.J. Simpson.
Even Vince Young, too.
Vince Young is another one. Michael Jordan, Vince Carter, guys like that. And then a player deserved, like I said Jordan. That was the one that I probably would have went up with. Was MJ. Did you guys want to do the list real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have a time limit anymore, so we're fine.
Oh yeah, that's right. So this is 29 names, not 50. because the list that I did was the NFL running backs who have more than 10,000 yards in their career. So there's not 50 running backs who have achieved that goal. So that's why it's only 29. So Brett, 1 or 2 behind my back.
Dos.
Ben, you want to go first or second?
I'll go second.
Okay, so Brett starting us off here.
Barry Sanders.
All right, number 3.
Emmett.
Number 1.
Jim Brown.
Number 10.
Walter Payton.
Number 2.
Jim Thorpe.
What did you say?
What?
Thorpe. Not. My
Did you
bad.
say Jim Thorpe?
Yeah. My bad.
God, you're bad.
What?
I'm.
Oh my gosh.
Are we counting that? Like, I don't even know if I can count
Why
that.
did you say? Was that just did you?
I'm just.
You-
I don't know what's going on here.
Did you mean to say somebody else?
I don't really know.
What
I
just
don't know.
happened? What just happened?
We're gonna forget that and
Oh.
Adrian Peterson.
That's a little better. 16. Jim Thorpe was a defensive back, by the way. We're just curious.
Marshall Falk.
Marshall Falk, number 11. Brett's struggling.
I am, because
What's going on?
I'm guessing most of these guys came early.
No.
I'm gonna LT.
LT, number 5. There are a lot of guys on this list that have played in our lifetime that we have seen
Yeah.
play.
Jerome Bettis.
Jerome Bettis, number 6.
Are there any current? Well, besides Peterson.
Yes. Number 8 is a current player.
This isn't good.
There's a couple guys that played for the Patriots on this list.
Curtis
Hey,
Martin.
no hints.
Sorry.
Was
What'd
Curtis
you say,
Martin
Brett?
one of them?
Curtis Martin. It's one of Ben's wasn't that you did a
I love Curtis Martin. Tony Dorsett.
Tony Dorsett, number 9. You got 2 left in the top 10.
Who left in the top 10?
Yep.
I want to say Gil Sayers, but I don't think he got there. I guess I'll throw Gil Sayers out there. I think he was at like 9,500 yards.
He was at like 6,000 yards. He had to retire early due to injury.
Like,
Okay. Ben,
yeah.
Ben, should we see how far Ben can go?
Oh boy. All right. This could be really short. So let's see here. I don't want to be wrong. So 10,000 yards. Frank Gore?
Frank Gore is the current player that is also on this list.
Mm.
He is number 8 all time.
Yeah.
You have 1 left in the top 10.
Okay. Man, I'm just gonna throw a name out here. Jamal Lewis.
Jamal Lewis is number 24.
All right. Okay. Franco Harris.
Franco Harris, number 14.
Okay. O.J. Simpson.
Number 21. Ben, I'm impressed. Brett, I'm highly disappointed.
Oh, it's a rough day. It's just not good.
Thinking about Tyler Hansbrough over there.
I you know,
Hey, I think Ben went 3-0 today. Clean sweep.
Clean sweep. Well, that's what happened. I had to pick up dog poop all this morning. That was a good setup for today.
John Riggins?
Number 19.
Holy cow! Wow. That was suspenseful.
I think I might have paid attention. I went to the Hall of Fame last week.
What?
Might have been able to figure out a few more names than what I threw out there.
Yeah. Jim Thorpe.
Jim Thorpe.
Really.
Was there like a big Jim Thorpe section?
No. There was a giant statue of Jim Brown, though.
Can't think. Jeez.
Should I start giving some hints? And
What?
you guys can start guessing?
Amon Green.
Amon Green is not on this
All right.
All right, so
Terrell. Is Terrell
in the
Davis? Terrell Davis? TD?
Terrell Davis is not on
Okay.
this.
Okay. I'm glad I didn't say that then.
Okay, all right, so the ones you guys missed. A L.A. Ram legend,
Dickerson.
Eric Dickerson. A running back that made his career playing with Peyton Manning, Edgerrin James.
Oh,
Number 12.
shoot.
Number 13, Marcus Allen.
Is Ricky Williams on this list, too?
Ricky Williams is number 29. He is the last running back over to 10,000.
Larry Zonka?
What's that?
Larry Zonka?
Nope, no Larry Zonka.
Oh, man. Okay. Now I'm just off.
Thurman Thomas is on this list. A Jacksonville Jaguar legend in Fred Taylor.
I was thinking about that one, but
What'd you say, Brett?
Is Jones Drew on the list?
no.
No, he's not. Another player who just recently retired played with the Patriots, Steven Jackson. Another player that played with the Patriots, Corey Dillon.
Oh, man.
Um,
I didn't know that.
one of the creators and helpers of the Dirty Bird, Warwick Dunn.
Wow.
Ricky Waters.
Wow.
Ricky Waters. A player that all three of us have watched his entire career, Thomas Jones.
Really? He's at 10,000.
Yep, he's number 25 all time.
Jeez.
Probably one of the guy who took over for Marshall Faulk as the receiving running back threat, Tiki Barber, is on this list. Ben used this player in his argument before to argue Archie Griffin. That is Eddie George, another Ohio State running back. Otis Anderson is number 28.
Oh, man. I thought about him.
And the pot-smoking Ricky Williams to round it out at 29.
Why does he have to be the pot smoking?
Well...
Why can't it be the dreadlocked Ricky Williams?
Yeah, I'm sorry. The dreadlocked former New Orleans Saint, Ricky Williams.
Wow.
That is all I got today, guys.
Wow. Well,
and I hope you had a good time playing.
Yeah, I had a blast. Now, who's going to do it next time now?
Brett, are you going to come through in the clutch, or are you going to be miserable?
Well, no, I can do it. I won't have to throw out Jim Thorpe.
It's probably better that Brett does it next week, so we don't get a Jim Thorpe.
He needs a bye week.
I need a break here. I'm like 1-2 right now on the year.
Yeah.
Need that week for bye week so I can go 13-0 to finish.
Oh, all right. Promises. Don't make promises you can't keep.
I won't. What do you guys want next week?
Same thing.
Yeah, make your case. Come out with a list.
A list. Yeah. Who we play for.
Yeah. I'll come with some extras just in case.
No JT O'Sullivan.
No J.D. O'Sullivan for sure.
I can't believe you guys have never heard of him. That's just blows my mind. I was like 5 years old when I first heard of him. All right, well...
Still can't say I've heard of him outside of that one segment.
Same here.
All right, well, we're going to end the show. Because...
That's all right. We'll end on that note.
Well, yeah, thank you guys for listening. Hopefully we'll get some visuals soon. Who knows? Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all that jazz. And we'll see you guys next week.